Chapter 21, Patient Smile. Caron was thoughtful for a bit, and then he said, "Try baby steps. Gregory and I did not sleep with one another until we got used to each other's company. Start with hand-holding and then a peck on the cheek, but not all in the same day. And maybe it'll be different if it is with someone you love and it happens to be with your consent." Brilliant idea, Caron, retorted Gregory. And if by the kissing stage you want to be allowed, you can do so without destroying your friendship. And just then say, "Sorry, miss, I tried, it is me, not you, and let's go back to being friends." By and by, who is the lucky maiden? Is it someone I know? Asked Caron. My guess is that it is, said Gregory, feigning ignorance. It must be Sofina. The two of you always banter like an old married couple. But isn't she like a celibate nun or something? Asked Caron, confused. Sofina is whatever is convenient for her to be at the moment, explained Mary. Aha, so you admit it. It is Sofina, said Caron, getting out of the herbal bath and wrapping himself in a large towel. Yes, said Eric flatly. We keep our marriage a secret and we go on dates, sure, but only in remote locations where nobody can see us. That is so lame, protested Caron, coming over to stand before Eric. And she's a girl and you're a guy, and why are you hiding your relationship? Even Gregory and I head out together and we have even kissed in public, so tell me, Eric, what is your excuse? Oh, you don't think that you are hiding Sofina with all this secrecy? You don't think she's mad, is she? Said Eric, putting his hands around his head. Sofina is furious, said Caron. Not furious, but she has been a little stingier with the money, and she only does that when she's in a foul mood, protested Gregory. You don't have to kiss her or hold her hands, but maybe it would mean the world to her if you showed up in public with her, at least in Wallen. You've been drifting apart, haven't you? And every time I see the two of you together, you're arguing, and hope is just there to serve as a distraction so you don't have to deal with your crumbling marriage. At this rate, she will leave you for someone less complicated, added Caron. These words stung Eric to the core, and he rummaged through his closet. And Caron was still wrapping the towel, and he seemed irritated, and he whispered to Gregory, "When is he going to leave?" "Give him 5 minutes or so," said Gregory. Eric returned wearing a strange outfit, and it was one of Sofina's tuxedos. And the suit came with an elegant overcoat with an intricate inner lining, and the coat had an ornamental gardenia flower. And the suit was a perfect fit with the internal shirt black that contrasted with a white tie. And it also had included a black scarf combination, and despite looking simple and clean, there were small ornamental details here and there. Perfect, said Caron. Now go to the guild without wearing your stupid sacred mask and loudly ask her on a date. Nay, don't ask her, tell her, "Sofina, we are going on a date." Eric laughed with his words of encouragement, and as soon as he left, Caron said, "Phew, I thought he was never going to leave." "I like this new side of you," said Gregory, smiling, and he added, "You're so cute when you try to act all masculine." "Hey, it's not an act," said Caron, shaking his fist at Gregory, and he added, blushing, not getting the herbal bath. "That love spell took long enough to work, didn't it?" pouted Gregory. "Better late than never, and I think I was looking at the situation the wrong way. I mean, we are finally alone, and no one is eavesdropping on our conversation or watching us sleep, which is kind of creepy of Alisa, and she spends more time watching us than paying attention to my brother, and I almost feel sorry for him," said Caron while Gregory got undressed. And the towel was a solid slab of stone, and it was tall, so the bath had been designed for his height for him to be completely submerged in water. And Caron went to the bath first, and when he removed the towel, Gregory saw when Caron was already ready to go. And Gregory, laughing, said, "And don't tell me Eric did that to you." "Oh, shut up, I thought it was you who was massaging my hair," protested Caron. "And it's no wonder you wanted Eric to leave already," said Gregory, laughing. And he added, "I can wash your hair from now on if it pleases you." Caron had already nestled in the herbal bath, and he gestured for Gregory to come inside. And then he added, "Sure, now sit on it." "Yes, sir," said Gregory in a mocking tone. And Gregory started getting inside the herbal bath, but he slipped and he landed on top of Caron far harder than he had intended. And Caron screamed in pain, and then he moved Gregory about to position him in a way that would not squash his 2 coin purses, and in the water Gregory fell to Caron even lighter. And Caron held on to Gregory's hips, and he lifted him and dropped him to his own leisure. And Gregory lifted a leg to hold on to the edge of the tub, and this freedom allowed Caron's hands to maneuver themselves all around him, and from time to time Caron would pass his hand over the red heart scale. While Caron and Gregory were finally enjoying some alone time, Eric had entered the war room wearing that tuxedo, and the senior guild members were caught up strategizing with Sofina. And Sofina's annoyed expression changed to one of joy when she saw Eric finally wearing the tuxedo she had made for him. Eric opened his mouth to speak, but he shaken out, and everyone was staring at him with an amused look, and among those assembled were Lauda, Missy, and Alec was the most amused by this turn of events, and so Eric, taking courage, finally said, "Sophia Anastasia, put on your Sunday dress." And Sofina's flames bloomed like a flower, and smiling she said, "All right, everyone fuck off, all the other activities are cancelled, Missy, you're in charge, everyone do what Missy says." And Mincy chirped happily and waved Sofina goodbye. Like, Mincy has the language of the birds, so then she chirps and stuff, like a cute little songbird. Sofina ran to her bedroom, and the senior members left the war room, and they put away the maps and all of the plans. And Allan had gotten a first-hand look at how the guild functioned, and he had heard rumors that Eric and Sofina were married. And as a former slave, Eric did not have land or title to his name, and he did have a mother and inheritance from his adopted father, and Sofina had plenty of land in the form of orphanage, mansions, and 2 sanitariums, or, madhouse. It's a madhouse! She also had a few titles under her name thanks to her well-placed orphans, and her blood had been analyzed without her knowledge by the nobles, and she was a pure blood of an unknown type of creatures, and all these factors combined to make Sofina quite the coveted bachelor. And Sofina, as was the tradition among ladies, took forever to head out, and when she finally felt like coming out of the room, she was put in a sleeveless white swing dress with a pink floral pattern and a silk shawl and embroidered gloves, with a single pearl bracelet and a small ornamental hat with 2 pink roses. And the skirt was knee-long, which allowed one to see Sofina's awkward pumps, with low kitten heels, with a round toe and an ankle strap. While Eric waited, he started pacing up and down the hallway, and the boy guild members were watching the entire scene, and other 2 lingered there, but for other reasons. And Sofina's bedroom door opened, and aghast at the scandalous look of her outfit. And Eric was at first a little shocked, but then he took her hand and he kissed it, and with that salutation, the 2 left the guild arm in arm. Cause Sofina's like a human, and human fashion of these days will contrast greatly with the more conservative fashion of the fantasy world she was isekai to. The union members heard commotions, and they left their classroom to see what was the problem, and it was the first time they had seen Sofina in a civilian outfit. And what an outfit! It was in the late afternoon when the pair left the guild, and wherever they went, they drew curious glances on account of their strange attire. And since it was wild and nobody said anything rude, and their first stop was a park, and they sat on a bench to hold hands, and Eric said happily, "How is it that you know so much about me, and yet I know so little about you? Since you put it on that getup, I can answer any question you want, except for my age, and I swear to you, I will give you a black eye if you so much as ask me how old I am," said Sofina chuckling. "And what is the reason why you were attracted to me? When we first met, I was the mad elf Eric, mindlessly looking for my next victim," said Eric. Sofina laughed heartily, and then she said, "It was your face, that lovely face that you used to hide behind that cold mask. You look like a fictional elf I found quite charming." "Is that so?" said Eric, laughing. "Lucky me. What was his name?" "His name is Mercury, and don't try to look him up, cause all the stuff related to him no longer exists," explained Sofina. "And what is your home mighty sword like?" asked Eric. Same as this place. Lots of weirdos trying to live their peaceful life, and when the main leg gets agitated, a pharaoh starts moving the island, and you see those small swells coming from the ocean. It is a sign that the pharaoh has moved the island," explained Sofina. And the string of the conversation was broken when a little dog came out to Sofina, and the dog had a leash, so apparently had run away from his master, and Sofina, frowning, said, "Pets are something I do not approve of, especially little dogs, and the folks here took the noble wolf and turned it into a joke." And Eric picked up the little chihuahua and he petted it, and he said, smiling, "I don't mind dogs, especially the little one. Isn't he cute, Sofina?" And Sofina stretched her hand towards the dogs, and the little critter started barking and growling, and she sighed and said, See, the cur hates me, and let's see if we can return it to its owner. The pair looked about, and then they found a lady looking about for her doggy, and when this side quest completed, Erica and Sofina continued along their way, and this time they went to the market to get snacks, and they made their way to the beach. And Eric had brought a blanket and a small wooden chair for Sofina, and Sofina had brought a basket that had wine, bread, and a couple of apples. Eric enjoyed the apples, while Sofina loved every bread of every kind. And while most folks added ingredients to the bread, Sofina preferred her bread plain. And as they saw the sunset, Eric asked, "And you once said that we were the same. In what way do you mean? Were you a slave?" "No, but I was in a similar situation," said Sofina, starting to crumble up her bread. And she added, "Well, for most of my early life I lived in a basement, and the only other person I knew was a man I called Grandpa. And I have vague memories of having a mother, but one day I awoke to find her in a pool of her own blood. And when I got older, I discovered the reason why my mother had chosen to end it all. And one day, a strong power awoke inside of me, and I was able to free myself by killing that monster who made me his plaything. But I lost myself as well." Eric grew somber, coming to grief with what Sofina was saying, and she continued, "I lived many years as a wild stallion Storfina, and without any traces of my former humanity." "What is humanity?" asked Eric. It is the same as sense of self, and in this land there are no humans. I am human. Sofina is human," explained Sofina. "Humans are weak, fragile little creatures with a lot of potential, and they can either ascend or descend, and so have been capable of bringing back the dead, while others have become bloodthirsty monsters. Little Sofina became the latter. I killed any human who dare approach me, and I was returned to my humanity by Candace, who lassoed me, and after living as an equine for a bit, I regained some semblance of humanity. Candace and I became friends, and I went to live in my resort as a person and not an animal, and from time to time I would feel the need to roam, and my feet eventually led me here." "Do you like it here?" asked Eric. "This place is as good as any other," said Sofina flatly. "And you are here, so here I shall remain." "And after your experience, was it painful, and do you feel like you were dying?" "I tried once, many years after being freed, and it felt like I was a puppet again, like I was alive but dead on the inside. I do not want to feel like that ever again," said Eric, hugging his knees. "The first time after the last time was awful, and the second time was terrible, and the fourth and the first. And I kept torturing myself more out of stubbornness than anything. And I may be a horse, but I had the tenacity of a mule. And I could not let the bastard win over me, so I soldiered on. And over the years I have reinvented myself, doing away with anything and everything having to do with the person I once was before. And Sophia Anastasia is not even my real name. Still, it can get tiresome sometimes, you know. And the girl I once was loved fairy tales, magic, and elves. And you invoke in me the person I was before I was forced to face the cruel reality of my situation," explained Sofina. And she added after a pause, "I am content to live as your brother and sister if you wish, and people have put intercourse on a pedestal, and as if it is the only way for people to express their love for one another. I am fine with you taking me out on dates and to talk random nonsense, and we can even buy a nice house in the suburbs, and fill it out with children to call our own." "We have 4 children already," said Eric, laughing. "Ah, yes, Gregory, Allan, Marina, and Hope," said Sofina. "All the little chicks have left their nest, and now our little clubhouse is empty. And even Hope will leave us soon once he gets a little older. And maybe we could try just this once, and maybe if we're lucky we could have a chick of our own, to love and to care for and to pamper," said Eric, getting very serious. "Meh, I don't count on that happening like ever," said Sofina sadly. "But you are welcome to try if it pleases you." A ver, venga.